Welcome to Burns Hustles, where we turn side hustles into cash. In today's lecture, we discuss Japan and its standardized test-based education system and how Japan might improve for the future, by Kevin R. Burns. For some positives in Japanese education, one need look no further than the local kindergarten or the local elementary school. For everything other than English education, they are doing a good to great job of educating the children of Japan. Classes are creative, teachers are caring on the whole, and students are happy and learning. Many studies have shown that when students enjoy what they are doing, they learn more. There is value in educational games and other enjoyable learning activities. Were the whole education system to be like this from kindergarten to the end of university, the Japanese people would be happier, healthier, and more productive, both in GDP and creative terms. Unfortunately, this all ends at age 12. Those are the years that exam hell starts, and from which students never really recover. The standardized test-based education system of Japan that starts in the junior high school years kills any kind of initiative, creativity, and especially thinking outside of the box. Unfortunately, these last three are what Japan especially needs in the 21st century, perhaps Japan's most challenging 100 years yet. For many years now, Japan has employed this test-based education system, and passing the all-important tests is what educators and students, not to mention parents, are focused on. The result of all this test-taking and stress is a nation of order takers who have trouble making decisions, let alone stating an opinion. Don't believe me? When you next meet a Japanese just for fun, ask them their opinion on something. If they are able to give an opinion, then do this. Ask them why. Why do they feel that way? In many cases, they will be stumped. In spite of this standardized test hell that most Japanese find themselves in during their school years, a few would-be Michelangelos manage to slip through. Most, however, have their creative thoughts stripped from them or numbed into oblivion. Recently, one of my bright Japanese students returned from North America to once again study at his old university in Japan. He was shocked at the passivity of the students. He hadn't realized how passive, non-responsive, and void of opinions Japanese university students were. He said that in America he studied with students from all over the world, and he enjoyed hearing and expressing his opinion with others. He couldn't understand how the students of Japan were so passive and quiet. He expressed the desire to go back to America as soon as possible to study there. Many Japanese who have lived abroad have said the same thing. Group consensus is very important in Japan in general, but in many situations, group consensus is not possible. Someone has to take the lead and make a decision. They need to gather the information available and make the best decision she or he can. In the past, former Prime Minister Yukio Hatoyama was dubbed loopy by the American press, especially due to his lack of decision-making on the Okinawa base issue. Once he made a decision, he then turned around and reneged on it, and apologized to Okinawans for his backslide. But this lack of decision-making ability is not restricted to the general populace. It occurs in all ranks of Japanese society. Hatoyama, of course, is a product of this education system. During the nuclear meltdown in Fukushima, things were very dire. There was no correct answer. The question was not on a test. It was a brand new situation that could have been avoided had TEPCO built the reactors up on the hill as originally planned. No one could imagine a tsunami in a country that has been hit by uncountable tsunamis throughout history. The nuclear reactors were melting down, and the Prime Minister needed opinions on what should be done. It was difficult to get expert opinions. The so-called experts were afraid to be wrong. Thankfully enough, good decisions were made in the end that the world was spared a worse disaster, but it was very scary. As well, it is not only the students who are having a difficult time, the teachers are too. Many have to take time off work due to stress, while others create a life of drudgery for their pupils. Many Japanese seem to have lost their love for education and learning once they enroll in junior high school. Indeed, too much test-taking may result in shallow learning and a negative feeling towards school. Hikikomori, or the avoidance of going to school or work, is a huge problem here. There are many Japanese who do not participate in society, and this often starts when they are students. For the future, Japan needs to ask itself, are we creating the people we need to solve the problems of the future? If the answer is no, then this is a recipe for disaster. Basically, with the rise of AI and robotics, I feel that the Japanese people need to be flexible in their thinking, quick on their feet, in other words. Are we creating those people now? Even with the rise of AI, rather than embracing it, some university instructors are telling students AI is cheating. They present a very negative view of it. Whether one likes it or not, it is the future. To me at least, learning about AI now and starting to use it seems very important. In the 1890s, people said that horses would never be replaced by cars. Cars were too dirty and unreliable. Cities were up in arms over the amount of horse manure on their streets. They did not know how to deal with the problem. Within 20 years, it wasn't a problem. Times change. It is the responsibility of instructors to be flexible and help to instill that in their students. We should not be biased as much as possible. We need to present the information to students so that they can decide for themselves. Labeling a future technology as evil is not our job. Japan needs creative thinkers, people who can think outside of the box to solve the problems of immigration, an aging population, unemployment, offshore employment, trade, and of course the environment. However, perhaps the most pressing problem is the psychological health of the citizens, and what are we going to do when AI replaces some jobs? For this latter and the other problems mentioned above, I think there are valuable lessons to be learned in kindergarten. Kevin Burns has lived in Japan for over 30 years, owns a small chain of guest houses near Hakone, Japan, and teaches English at a couple of Japanese universities. He also makes on-demand courses for Udemy and has multiple YouTube channels: Burns Hustles, Kevin's English Schools, and I Am Hakone. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.